Today's video is a collaboration with the Inspiration Collaboration Design Team, where we are taking last chance items from Stampin' Up! And creating with them. So last chance is like the clearance section of Stampin' Up! And a lot of these items are discounted, or they might be items that they're no longer going to be restocking. So they may not be discounted, but they are in the last chance section, so you will not be able to get them once they're sold out. So one of those items happens to be the Everyday You and Me scrapbooking workshop. This was a workshop that came with the papers, the stickers, and this guide to create 3 double-page layouts. Let me show you those papers here. I have used a few of the stickers, so I don't have the full thing anymore. There was a brown little tab here, a circle element, and a couple word stickers. But look at how perfect this is for journaling spots. We have some banners, we have a lot of titles, and then a lot of those word stickers. It's perfect and usable. So the papers. Oh, this is my white cardstock. Okay, that's going to be my base for today's. This was 12 by 12, but I had cut into that for a separate project. And then they are double-sided. So let me go ahead and flip these over. This one I really want to do a beach layout with. I know you've seen other people do that, and how can you not see beach with that? So I love this plaid. We'll be bringing this paper in today with that star on the other side, and then the plaid. And then these were specialty papers, so this is just one-sided. Here's another one of those pieces there. And then these remind me of like winter kind of sprigs. And these are also specialty, so they're just one-sided. So you get 2 pieces of this specialty and 2 pieces of this one. And then the rest are double-sided here. And you do get the cardstock for the kit as well when you buy the workshop kit. I am creating just a single page layout today. I just have 2 photos. And as I had mentioned, I'm going to be bringing this paper in, and I already cut it down. So this piece I cut to 4 1/4 by 11 1/2, and I am going to have that sit right here with just that 1/4 inch border going around. And then this one I am going to have sit right here with that 1/4 inch border along that side. I had a little piece of scrap paper in with this collection. I must have cut just a strip off of the cardstock for another project. So I had that in there, and I'm like, so I figured let's use that up. And I do need to ink that one little side there. I went around all of the edges with some charcoal ink just from my stash, just to give it some definition. And I didn't want to set that directly onto my white paper. The ink can smudge onto it. And if you didn't notice, this is double-sided or two-toned. So you have the true color and then a lighter version of that color. I am using the true color, true side of that. So I just want that to sit right there. Now my photos are of my husband. He made some mead, and it was finally time to bottle it. And then we grilled that day as well. So since this was called the You and Me collection, there's not very many pictures of me out there at the moment. So I'm going to just take the you part of this and feature him. So I could definitely use one of these as the title, My Happy Place. We are at home, which is my happy place. Enjoying the moment, you and me. Any of these would work great. But I decided to do some stash busting and pulled out these little grills. And then this sticker comes with this collection. It's a Close to My Heart collection, Fire Up the Grill. So I figured that'd be perfect as part of my embellishments. For my title, I would like to bring in another retired item that's in the last chance, and that is Love This Moment. So I have happy here. And then to go with my happy, I'm bringing in documenting the day. Documenting the day is not in the last chance section, but I wanted this word day here. So I have happy day. And I stamped that on white, and then I started fussy cutting it out, and I wasn't sure how I wanted it to look. So I actually do like that, and I think I am going to finish fussy cutting it, or at least cut up into these sections. And I think I want my title right in here. These letters are super easy to fussy cut, and you don't have to overthink fussy cutting. I just like to leave a little white border going around so that it does hide any mistakes I might make while cutting, and I just like to see the little white border. So I'm just going to finish cutting out happy day. I'm just going to add a little bit of my Barely Art glue right below where I'm adding that strip, and then I'm going to stick that pin back in before that dries out, and then I can just slide this under that tan piece of pattern paper, and then I can wiggle it into place here. Perfect. Let's bring those photos back in, and I know I want those right down here. I printed these with a white background, but I actually think I might want to double matte them. Yeah, so we are going to add this as the background to both of those. Every time I look at this picture, I think of the song Dust on the Bottle, how he's singing about Creole, the man that makes wine. So I might have to somehow journal or document, just call him Creole. I'm liking this little setup and having my title right down in here. Maybe a little higher up. So I have that, and then from this same stamp set, I did a couple spatulas. So I could do something kind of like this, or I could just do one. Not quite sure. And then I have this from that same sticker sheet, Story of Today. I could do that down here and then have my journaling. So then I do kind of want another, and then I also made it in brown because I wasn't sure which colors to do. Have a lot of colors going on now. I think I like the brown because this color kind of ties in with that, but then I might have too many words. Story of Today, Fire Up the Grill, and Happy Day. So maybe I shouldn't use one of these. And then have my journaling down here. Here's where we're at so far. I decided to use the gray rather than the tan, just to bring in another color down there. It looked a little too dark with all the tan. And then to bring more tan up to this area, I brought that over. I wanted to bring in Story of Today. I just don't know that it works having 3 words. If my journaling is down here, that kind of makes sense to have Story of Today start off the journaling. So maybe that isn't so bad, and I could do another little cluster over here. I could bring in more of the brown if I wanted to do like another one of those, or maybe I could bring in some bottles or something. Let me see what I have over here for that would tie in with that. The only other stamp I can think of that kind of ties in with this would be this homespun preserves, like these mason jars and whatnot. I don't know though. Trying to think, would it actually tie in? We could do, yeah, I kind of like how that looks. And we could do like a big one and a small one. Something like that, and then story of today, and then have the journaling. Okay, so we'll do that. There are coordinating dies with this one, so I'll go ahead and get these stamped probably in this color here, and then so that I can bring that down. And this kind of ties in over here, and then maybe I can do like one of the cloths for over the mason jar. Maybe I can do that in the brown to kind of bring a third point of brown over. So I'm going to do some stamping off camera. I used a blending brush just to add a little bit of color to the inside of those jars. So I'm going to have something like that, and then like this here. Oop, stuck to my finger. I did remove the adhesive off of that sticker, but and then to bring in some more of that light brown, I think I'm just going to top that large one off with that. So now I have the brown in 3 areas. And then I think I'll do some strip journaling, so I'll cut those too. This layout came together super quick and easy. So these little guys actually remind me of our sourdough starter, Herbert. So, and my husband usually does the sourdough too. So I feel like this kind of goes with the theme, even if it doesn't look like the jugs that he's putting the meat into. But here we are. I might add just a few little gems. I don't want to add any sparkly gems since this is a more masculine layout, but maybe these little gray ones around. Oh, and I wanted to add a little something up here too. What can I add up in that section? I have a camera. How big is that though? That's not very large. That's super tiny. Look how little it is. I mean, we could do just a tiny little camera up there in maybe in this color. I added some journaling strips. I added those little cameras around along with those dots. Aren't those cameras adorable? They're so little. All right, I'm gonna add my journaling and we are gonna call this one good. Be sure to head over to the Inspiration Collaboration Design team and see what products they used that are in the last chance. Until next time, live a life worth scrapping. Bye guys.